Everyone knows that person that is constantly involved in a bunch of extracurricular activities. Well, I'm that girl. But here are the most important to me. I'm a student ambassador for Frisco High School, so that means I just help kids that are new or just feeling lonely, and I just counsel them with the counselors and just let them know that they're loved and we see them. I'm also National Honor Society president, which I'm so blessed to be. I'm a Bible study leader for Prestonwood Baptist Church, and I absolutely love it. I love pouring into the girls and boys there, and I'm very involved in Prestonwood Baptist Church through their student ministry, but also their choir. I'm in the student choir, and we've gone so many places for mission trips. We've been to Tennessee, Georgia, England, Seattle, Washington, D.C. We've been everywhere, but one very important one to me was Washington, D.C., and that's when I got my call to ministry. And at Washington, D.C., I served at a men's homeless shelter called Central Union Mission. And I walked there every single day with my group. And we just walked down and pass out box lunches. And we just wanted everyone to know that we were there, we want to help you. And this one woman had a suitcase, like that big of a suitcase, and I was just like, she's probably not homeless, but you know, God is really tugging on my heart for me to go over to her. So I went over to her and I was just like, hi, we're from Texas, do you want this box lunch? And she started like shoving it in her face, and I was just like, oh my word. And then she started talking to me and she told me that she was homeless. And what was so funny, I didn't know that she was, but God knew, and he led me over to her, and I talked to her, and she told me about women on the streets and homelessness, and it just broke my heart that women on the streets, they have two choices: either to find and fight for a homeless shelter, which are very, very few, or to die on the street. And I didn't like those odds. So that night I was really praying about it, and the Lord just put the song Oceans on, and the praise team was singing it, and it said, take me deeper than my feet could ever wander, so that my faith would be made stronger in the presence of my Savior. And I was like, that is exactly what I'm called to do. I'm called to go and help those women. So, hello, my name is Jillian Murphy. I am studying women's ministry under the mentorship of Pastor Sam Palinzi for the second year. My quote is all about my original work last year, which I'll talk about more in a few minutes, but it's, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore, I will boast all the more gladly of my weakness, so that the power of Christ may rest upon me. 2 Corinthians 12:9. And this quote just spoke like so much to me, because the women and the people on the streets that we were passing out the packages to, they were in a point of weakness. They were at a point where no one could help them except for the Lord, and the Lord just used us as vessels to go and help them. And it just made me smile, because I'm just a little 18-year-old girl. I want to help all these women on the street. I can't do that on my own. That's nothing but Jesus. Next is my research, and I'm focusing more on the research I've done in ISM2 and just the broad topics. I focused a lot on Mike Smith. He is a CEO of 2 nonprofits. He started Skate for Change, which gave me the inspiration for Grace Packages last year. And Skate for Change is you ride around on skateboards and you pass out socks to homeless people, which I think is absolutely amazing. And I got to go to a conference under him, and he just talked about, we have all these big ideas, but they're ideas. We need to put them into action. And I was like, oh my word, that's exactly what ISM was. And it was right at the beginning of the year, so it was just an awesome start to my year. I watched War Room, and it was right after I got into a wreck, and I didn't want to do anything. I was just like, Mom, I want to go home. I have a concussion. I have whiplash. I don't want to do anything. Well, Coach Goff told me how amazing War Room was, and my church was telling me how amazing War Room was. And I was just like, you know what? We can go to War Room. And it was phenomenal. It was absolutely amazing. I recommend it to every person in this room. It was amazing. The power of prayer through strategy, just speaking back promises of God back to him. He knows what he promised you, and he will totally fulfill it. And the main character of War Room was Priscilla Shire. And my mom used to be the women's minister of Oak Cliff Bible Fellowship, which her dad was the pastor of. So I ended up getting to have a quick interview with her over the phone, and that was absolutely amazing. She was so encouraging towards me becoming a speaker and an author and helping women on the streets, which she just let me know that you can do more than one thing. You don't have to be pinned down to this one thing, because she's an author of all these devotionals and all these books, but she's now an actress and she speaks at women's conferences. She's just absolutely amazing. Woodlawn is a Christian movie, and the component of revival is what I focused on, because it's just like, how do you reach someone that is strong against Christ to come to the Lord? And one thing that Woodlawn showed was that if the Lord is in it, he'll provide, and he will move in them, and he'll use you as a vessel to just reach those people. And the last thing that I'm focusing on now, because of my original work for this year, but is Lifeway Writing. Lifeway is a huge Christian company, and I just want to write for Lifeway, because if you write for Lifeway, it opens so many doors. And they usually do writing by assignment, but looking into their rules and regulations, it just taught me how strong of a Christian foundation they actually do have, because you have to be heavily involved in a church. You have to be in a specific organization, which encouraged me, because I'm like, they're not just inflated with Jesus, they're actually have a strong foundation. Next, I would like to talk about my interviews last year to lead up to my mentor. Eddie Asagwu was my first interview. I walked in so nervous, absolutely nervous, and I talked to him, and he was the counselor, a Christian counselor at the Halfway House. So it's for men that come from prison, and they're not ready to go into society yet, but they're right there. And I was just like, well, he was very helpful in knowing that you can't help someone that doesn't want to be helped, which is hard, but it's the truth. And I just realized I really didn't want to go with him, because he just focused more on men, and I'm called to help women. Angela Grover was just a generic counselor, but she did do Christian counseling on Wednesday nights, and it was for wives of substance abusers. So it's if your husband was doing something, then it was an advocacy group, I'm sorry. And she was just led that, and I was like, that's amazing, but I still feel like that's not what I'm called to do. Arnold Meck was more focusing on the doctor, the substance abuse medicine part, where you flush out the IVs and just make sure that they can, when they do go to the doctor, they can get treatment, because if they have cocaine, you might not want to put some type of medicine that would clash with cocaine. You just don't want to do that. It's not smart. Lisa Shasteen was a Bible study leader at Restored Hope Ministries, and it was amazing. She told me all the stories of just the girls at this place called Restored Hope Ministries, and she was just like, yes, they come in broken, and you should see them now. And I'm like, where is this place? I want to go to this place. Well, she referred me to Sam Palinzi, who is the CEO of Restored Hope Ministries, and I asked him to be my mentor. Pastor Sam is the most amazing mentor for me, because he is doing exactly what I want to do in the future. And it's amazing because he does it based on Christian teachings. He has multiple women come in to feed into them and just tell them about Jesus. And it's exactly the layout I want to do in the future. His calling to ministry was actually very, very interesting. He was in prison when he got his call to ministry. And I love that he was there, because everyone else that I was going to was just like, so what did you do? And I was like, I went to this college, and then this, and then this. But he was just like, well, I got here by going to prison. The Lord knew what he was doing, which makes me so happy, because when we go through trials, we sometimes are like, Jesus, why am I here? Why did you place me here? And Pastor Sam tells me all the time, this is where you need to be for where the Lord is preparing you to be in the future. So his call to ministry was absolutely amazing. The Miss K event was a fundraiser, and Miss K from Duck Dynasty came and spoke, and she just helped us raise funds because they are a nonprofit, because if you are government founded, you can't talk about Jesus. So I was like, I have to be a nonprofit. I need to learn how to do this fundraiser. So that was an amazing teaching moment. I talked with a lot of the women and interviewed them about their lives, and that was just absolutely amazing, and I loved it. And Pastor Sam always reiterates this to me all the time: you can't help someone that doesn't need help, doesn't want to be helped. And the thing I'm finding throughout like my second year is you can't help them when they don't want to be helped, but Jesus can. And you can pray for them, and he can turn a heart of stone. He can do the impossible. We just can't. So Jesus is my strong advocate. Next, ISM 1, my original work was Grace Packages. Grace Packages was all about eliminating the fear of giving. What I mean by that is when you see a homeless person sitting right on the corner, you might walk past them. You might not even look in their direction because you might not have cash, or the thing that we all do in our heads, well, maybe they'll use it for drugs, or maybe they'll use it for alcohol or something. I don't want to support that. I'm actually being a good person. So I was just like, what if we didn't have that excuse? So that's what I focused on. I was just like, Grace Packages is eliminating that fear of giving. They have all the necessities, a Bible study plan, shampoo, conditioner, you name it, it's in there. And I partnered with multiple organizations, and I did Fund the Nation's t-shirts. I sold these t-shirts, and they were widely successful. And Ali Moret actually told me about the website, and it helped me so much. That was funding for the Grace Packages, but it was also partnering with different organizations, cold calling people, and just being like, hi, I'm Jillian. This is what I want to do, and this is why you should support me. And those are all of the supplies that I received, and all of the Grace Packages were 100% donated from somewhere, something, whether it was money for a t-shirt or if it was just actual goods. It created 60 Grace Packages that went to 60 homeless people, which made me super excited. And I just still want to thank the 4 volunteers that went with me. It was absolutely amazing. But one story that really caught my eye was Carol. And it was this old frail lady, and my mom actually gave her a Grace package, and she's like, I don't want everything in it. And we were like, do you want the Bible? Because, Jesus. And so we were like, do you want the Bible? And she's like, no. And so we were like, what do you need out of it? And she took some deodorant, she took some toothpaste, and we just talked to her, and we got to know her, and she was just like, I actually do want the Bible. And we just kept getting to know her, and we probably had an hour conversation with her. And the thing that she told me that stuck out was, I've been homeless for 25 years. I'm 18. She's been homeless longer than I've been alive. And what she looked at me, my mom, my friends that were volunteering, and she looked at us and she says, I need hope more than I need bread. And she took the Bible. And that brought me to tears. It made me so happy, because I'm like, the Lord can move. She wanted nothing to do with the Bible, and she's been homeless for 25 years. My focus was well, I need to fill the physical and spiritual needs. But Jesus was just like, let me take care of it. Just let me take care of it. And she's sitting here homeless for 25 years, and she's like, I just need hope. I just need hope. So that encouraged us so much. My ISM 1 final product was actually a book of the 4 Seasons of Hope. It was Restored Hope Ministries women that I interviewed, and I just related them to the 4 seasons. One of the women that I really focused on was Leslie, and she was on fire for Christ. She was amazing. She had so many perfect stories, and I realized that one day when I came in, she wasn't there. And I was like, oh, well, maybe she's at work because she's about to graduate. Maybe she's at work. And I went the second week, and she wasn't there. And it's ringing. And I was just like, where's Leslie? Pastor Sam, where's Leslie? And Pastor Sam looked at me, and he was just like, Leslie decided to leave. And I cried, and I talked to my mom, and I talked to Coach Goff, and I was like, I don't get it. I can't handle it. She was encouraging me to read my Bible more. She was encouraging me to go bigger, and she left. And when you leave, you can't come back. So I wrote about fall for her, and I just talked about how when you fall, you can get back up, but you need Jesus' help. And I just pray for her now that she's doing good. But I just wrote the book over each specific girl, and it was super impactful for my mom and grandma and Coach Goff and everyone to read it, and I'm trying to get that published right now. My ISM2 original work, I am proposing a Bible study plan just for the women to go through, and it's a weekly Bible study. It's really quick. It's just challenging them to live it out throughout the week. And I just want them to know that it's a building block of faith. We don't expect you to have everything perfect, right? When you come in, it's building blocks. And so I'm asking the women, what do you struggle with? So it can be relatable to girls just like us, but also women that are rehabilitating. My plans for the future are to go to John Brown University and double major in nursing and biblical studies. I want to have my own women's safe house, which I've talked a little bit about, and I want to become a speaker and author in the meantime. I just want to encourage other women along the way. I would like to say thank you to Coach Goff, who's been my inspiration for 2 years. She's absolutely amazing, and she fires me up every time I talk to her, and she's just so loving, but she'll kick you in the butt when you need it. I want to say thank you to Pastor Sam, who has poured into me so much. He's helped me with the grace packages. He's helped me with the fundraiser I'm working on now. He's helping me with the Bible study plans. He's just making it so much easier and helping me along the way. I want to say thank you to everyone at Restored Hope Ministries for welcoming me in, and it just means so much to me. I want to say thank you to my mommy, because I absolutely love you and you always support me. I want to say thank you to my family and friends for coming out tonight, and I want to say thank you guys for listening to me. Thank you for your time. I went way over. I told you. Thank you. I love you.
What time was it?
It was how much? I set a timer for myself.
How long was it? 17.
See, yeah.
It's alright, don't count off for that.
How long was it?
It was 17.
Just under 17.
I heard someone was 25 minutes.
Yeah, like Shane.
I just saw
Part of the reason